Hi everyone, it's Deb. Welcome to the Make a Mess card series that I'll be doing on the third Monday of each month. For this month, we're going to start out pretty easy. I'm using the Butterflies and Flowers layering masks, which are in the new January to June mini. And I'm choosing this butterfly, and there's another butterfly under here which you can't see right now. So we're going to make a butterfly card, and I'm using Daffodil Delight and Pumpkin Pie. And I only did one little test of this, so hopefully this will go okay. As you can see, I have taped down my mask with washi, and I have covered with Post-it notes the areas I don't want the color to go through on, right? And I'm using Stampin' Up's blending brushes, which I have wiped off, and I don't mind the variation in color. If you don't want a big yellow splotch somewhere, or whatever color you choose, take a piece of scrap and just on the first rub wipe it off. But I do want good coverage because I want the yellow to show through. Now next month I'll probably get a little messier yet. I won't say what I'll use because I don't know yet. Okay, so that's the yellow color. Now I'm going to take this off because I need to move my mask up. See, there was a flower I didn't want to show. Let's see how we did. Pretty, pretty. And then we're just going to line this up again. I might get 2 more pieces of washi down here. And because we're going to go with a darker color, and I want to hold this on because this is more detail now, right? So this will be similar to like a monarch butterfly. I'm going to take my Post-it notes though and cover up the rest of my card there because I don't want the color to go on the card. And I'm going to wipe my brush off that I was using. Both of them actually. This one doesn't look like yellow, but it's kind of my miscellaneous one that I use for various things. I just clean it really well. Otherwise, I have one for each color family. Now I'm going to use Pumpkin Pie, oops, which is a color I forget about often. But we're going to see how we do. You know what? I have to mask up here too. Because I really don't want the color. I don't want the color to go into that big open butterfly again on the top of my card. All right, now let's do this, and we're just going to rub. You could also use the finger daubers if you prefer. That would work as well, but I like the blending brushes for this particular technique. And you get a little variation in color, and you know what? I'm okay with that. I do want a little more over here to kind of match the darkness on the other side. That's the matchy part of me. And then make sure we get those little dots. All right, that's all I'm going to do on there. I'll wipe my brush off, and let's close our inks for a minute and see how we did. And then we're going to make a card out of this, right? So take these off and save them because I can use them again. You don't have to. I have so many Post-it notes at this point, but I don't like to be wasteful. And then I'm going to lift this up carefully. I'm going to lay that on my scrappy mat here, and I'm actually going to wipe this down with a baby mat real quick. A baby wipe that I had out to use. And some people will save them. I will not save that. At least not at this point. I'm to a point where I just can't save everything, even though I'm sure that would be another beautiful technique. There we go. Isn't that pretty? So that's our butterfly. Now you could fussy cut that. I'm not going to, but I do have to figure out what I'm going to do with this. So I'm going to put you on pause, and I'll be right back. Okay, everybody, I decided, since I used Pumpkin Pie, I brought in this piece of paper from the Abstract Beauty 4x6 inch specialty designer series paper, and I picked out a piece that's sort of abstract and has pumpkin pie in it. And also I brought in pumpkin pie card stock, which is cut on the 8.5 inch side at 4 1/4, then scored at 5 1/2, and I'm going to do it this way, vertically or horizontally. I brought in a whole piece of gold foil. Now I don't often do that without cutting something out, and that is cut at 5 3/8 by 4 1/8, and then because I just want to border around the edges of the gold to bring out the gold in it, and so we're going to put that down, but I don't want to do that yet because I don't know if I want any ribbon or anything on there. And I have decided I am actually going to fussy cut this out, and then I want a birthday card. So I brought in this Create with Friends, which is in the annual catalog on page 36. I'm just going to use the Celebrate, and I might heat emboss that. I'm not 100% sure yet. And on the inside, I'm going to use this Happy Birthday from the Celebrating You, which is in the January to June mini catalog on page 65. So that's the direction I'm headed. And when you cut these papers down, you end up with this little strip, which is about 3/4 inch by 4. So it's perfect for inside the card. So that's what the plan is. I'm not going to make you watch me fussy cut. So I'm going to fussy cut the butterfly, and I'll be right back. Alright everyone, so I fussy cut the butterfly, and I die cut out of pumpkin pie. This die from Hippo and Friends, which is in the annual catalog. I'm going to have links to all the products I'm using today down in the description area below. If you are in the US and are interested, I'd love to be your Stampin' Up demonstrator. These are all Stampin' Up products. Okay, so now we're going to stamp, and I'm kind of thinking, I was thinking originally to do like this, but then I think that's too much orange. I think I'm just going to go on white, but I'm going to stamp with Versamark and heat emboss with gold. And let me get my gold embossing powder real quick. Goodness. See, this is what you call stamping on the fly. The butterfly's flying, right? All right, I also want to get I have one of these little jobbies. Now, we don't sell these anymore. We used to. I don't know what they call it anymore. Let me get a scrap of paper back up here. I have my scrap over here. I'm actually going to open it up. Let me move my card out of the way. Alright, so we're gonna stamp with Versamark, which is a clear ink. Forgive the look of my pad, it's kind of well loved. And I do need to get a new one and also re-ink it. Actually, I have a second one, and they're both kind of yucky now. I'm going to do it not quite close to the edge. I'm going to put, this is a photopolymer stamp, so I am going to push down a little bit hard. So you're getting two kind of messies. Heat embossing and stenciling today. And I'm gonna, this might only be one jar, it might be two of gold embossing powder, I can't remember. But my recommendation is leave them in the jar. One jar goes a long way, and just use an old, some cheap coffee filters or scrap papers like I have, and then you can fold them up and dump them back into your pot, because this takes up a lot more room. It's convenient to do that and dump it right back in there, but it also takes up room, and I don't have that room, whereas one of these little pots takes up a lot less room, and I can fit like 6 in one little container in a drawer. All right, I'm going to leave this here for the moment, and I'm going to do my heat embossing, so close your ears. Here we go. Stampin' Up does sell a heat tool. I've had mine since before I joined Stampin' Up, so this is not theirs, but it's very similar. But I thought about getting theirs because they actually have 2 settings, and this one does not. It only has one. There we go. I think I got it all right. One more go over it. That one L looks a little like I maybe didn't get enough on it, but I think it's all right. All right. Now let's bring our card in. Sorry for the noise there, and wipe this off better and see how I want to do this. Yeah, I like that. And I think I'm going to flag both ends with a bunch. I'm going to cut this down a little bit. Then we'll flag both ends, and I may bring in some gold ribbon. Let's see, this is actually 5 inches long, and this is only 5 1/4, so I want it to be a little smaller than that, maybe at 4 1/2 before I start doing the banner thing. And let's see, we're gonna do the angle for both ends. I'm gonna have to cut this down a little bit too, because that's a little bit wide for my punch. It's a little more than 1 inch, and I want it to be 1 inch. Oops, which I should have done first, but we're gonna give it a try. I think it went crooked on me. You know what? I'm gonna get a little piece of my washi and just hold that in place real quick so it doesn't slide on me. There. All right. That's what it did. I should have put one down. I mean, I'm going to put another piece down. Sorry, guys. This is how I roll. This is how I roll. All right. Now we can cut down to 1 inch. There we go. And hopefully not tear our paper doing this. And it still might be a little wide for this punch, but we're going to try it anyway. That was the paper trimmer by Stampin' Up, by the way. I use it all the time, obviously. Now, if you are making gobs and gobs of card bases, more than I do, you may want a heavier duty paper trimmer. I change my blade about once every 2 months. Actually, I'm about due to do that, and you can start to tell when your paper starts to get a little bit fuzzy edges. That's when it's time to change the blade. All right, I think that's going to go right there, and that looks nice. And then let's see what else we want to do. Anything? Well, inside the card, let me get a piece of white, which hopefully I have one more piece for the inside. Yep, I have 2 more pieces. They're stuck together. There we go. And let's go ahead and stamp. Actually, why don't we do this in gold also? Because I'm not going to put gold around the edges on the inside. I'm going to have this over here like this. So yeah, let's do that in Versamark as well. I'm going to move this out of the way and bring my scrap back up. And then we'll see if we can't finish this card, right? I'm going to hold that down with my Celebrate, which I'm going to need to clean both of them very well. I'm not going to put that on just yet. I was kind of placing it there to see it. I usually move the sentiment over a little bit. Now, I don't know how this will work because it's got some open area on it, so we'll see. All right, now I didn't put any powder on, so we'll see how it goes. And my gold embossing powder again. Yeah. I'm doing this series primarily because when I do my Thursday night lives, I try to do 3 or 4 cards on that night, so I don't have a lot of time to do messy kind of stuff, because it takes me a little longer usually with this stuff. So I wanted to be able to show you guys. Now let me see how that'll look once it's, I think that'll be pretty. All right, I'm going to blow it a little bit just to get any loose bits off that don't belong there. Here we go again, noise, sorry. I'm going underneath first, keep it moving, don't hold it all still. Keep it moving, it is hot. Good, careful. And if you have children around, supervise, don't let them use this, small children especially. Okay, there we go. Now I'm going to let that cool for a minute because something else occurred to me, and this may or may not work. So again, I'm not going to fill that in yet, but I have these Stampin' Up markers, or you could use colored pencil. Let me test this. It has some ink in it yet. And brush that off a little bit. I'm actually going to try and color in a little bit in here. I think I like that. Yeah, these have just enough fine tip, the right side, the writing side of the markers. And of course I went out. Stay in the lines, Deb. Not good at that, really. Plus, the light here is a little glary. Let me see if this light will help. Maybe. Might help me just a tad. But I think that'll just add just another touch to the card, right? You don't have to do this. You could just leave it as it was. And it would be fine. But we have hollow spaces. And I'm a child of the 60s and 70s where we used to write letters kind of fancy and then color them in with different colors. And I actually went outside the line a little bit there. Let me see if I have my eraser here. I don't. I'm going to see if I can get that off, because that one's a little more noticeable. Well, no, not really. I'm going to go over that B just a little more. There, let me see. I think that'll do. All right. Now let's glue this on and put this inside our card, and then we'll finish this card up. This, by the way, is a sand and rubber eraser. You can get all sand. The sand part is what's supposed to remove the color, but it didn't do so good there. Anyway. It's all good. It's handmade. Expect imperfections. That's a word I'm keeping in my vocabulary, but not perfect. Not the word perfect. All right, yeah, I like that. Okay, a little bit bowed from the heat. That's why it's important to keep it going. Another way to prevent that is use thick whisper white instead, or basic white, excuse me, instead of regular basic white, which is what this is. And I'm gonna try and hold that down a little bit. Isn't that pretty? I think that's pretty. All right, let's glue our gold piece down. Actually, before we do that, let's get some. Oh, I'm hesitant to use seal. I'm gonna do it though. Let's use seal. Let's use seal. Let's try it over here. Great. And you know, when I first got Seal and Seal Plus, I really liked the Seal Plus better. It's good for ribbon and things. Now this is going to be tight, so I have to be careful because I only have a little bit of space on either side, and I think I did pretty good. Yay! Now I'm going to put this down with glue. I prefer glue because you get a little more wiggle room, a little bit of a safety net, and this is thick enough that I can do. I should have done the glue. I just don't like gluing onto foil because it smears all over the foil if you get too much on. But that looks good. All right, now I was thinking I might put some ribbon on, but I don't think we really need it on this. I have 3 different golds. This one is currently not orderable. I think one of these is not orderable. I don't know which one. This is the Fine Art ribbon. This is the gold. This is the one I think that's currently not orderable, but it should return. This is in the, it's a carryover from last year's holiday mini. I'm going to put a strip of that sticking out either end of the sentiment. So I don't need it to be real long. I'm going to kind of cut it straight. So sorry if this isn't orderable and I didn't really cut it straight. I'm going to just flag it a little bit too. On both ends, let me see. That's going to go like that. This is going to go across the bottom like this. And so I need to cut that down about this much. And then flag it too. Straighten it up and flag it. And just add a little more sparkle. Alright. Be careful you don't cut your hands. Your fingers. Oops. I didn't do a good job at flagging that. There we go. And that kind of made a mess there, but that's what this is all about. Messy day. And also I didn't stick the pin in my mat on something. This one of these anyway. It's it picked me a little bit. I use sewing or quilting pins, whatever they're called. Alright, I'm actually going to, you could add texture to this. I don't really think I need it because there's so much going on in the background on this paper. I'm going to glue this down. You could use the Seal or Seal Plus or even just glue dots. I'm going to kind of put it at an angle because the butterfly is going to go at an angle. I'm going to get some dimensionals and we're going to pop the butterfly up that I fussy cut, and you see I did one on the other side before I came on. But I hadn't taped down my stencil or mask, whatever they call them, decorative masks, and it kind of moved on me a little bit, so I wasn't happy. All right, I think that'll do. Let's take that off. So I try to show you guys the better versions. Doesn't always work, especially when I'm winging it. We're just going to put that about like there. And then this I'm also going to bump up, but let's put this ribbon down. I'm going to put a strip of Seal across here. Well, I'm going to get a pencil and kind of mark where I want it to come out. Here and here. Because that way I know about where to put the seal, right? The middle. Except it's pretty close to the butterfly. I don't care if it's exactly perfect because it's going to be under the other thing, but all right, go down there, and then this is going to get bumped up and go over it. All right, I think we're almost done, guys. Now I'm going to go kind of heavy on the dimensionals on the ends, and I have to see where this is going to be over. I don't want a dimensional here where my thumb is. That's a little trick. Put your finger where it's going to overlap. And you can put dimensionals anywhere but there, right? So I put 8 on. You probably don't have to use that many, but I want it to be firm, not floppy. Firm, not floppy. I want to be that way too, but it's not working. It would if I'd exercise more. Alright, and make sure I have enough room for that. There we go. And then if we wanted to, we could add a few embellishments. We might. And I know just the ones I want to use. 1 second. I'll get those later. We have these gold, if I can find them. Oh, well, we have 2 different kinds I can use. We, of course, have our brass butterflies, which maybe I'll use those. But the other one, and they're in the mini catalog, the other one we could use is these. But honestly, I think I'm going to go with the butterfly since they're new and this is butterfly themed, right? And we'll use the big one here on the bottom. I actually like these a lot because they're flat. They don't have a lot of dimension. I would love if Stampin' Up! Kept these like forever and ever. And then we'll put one actually up in here. And I think that is our card. Isn't that pretty? So we used our blending brushes and stencils or masks, whatever you want to call them. We heat embossed with gold Celebrate and also Happy Birthday. And then we used our Stampin' Right pumpkin pie marker to fill in the birthday. And I will have links, like I said, to all of the products that I used. Thank you for joining me on my new, it's not a collab, it's a series that I'm doing the 3rd Monday of every month. And it is going to be, let's see what I called it, Make a Mess cards. Make a mess cards, yes. Some people don't like to get messy. I don't mind it, as long as you clean it up again. I have to keep this area clean because if I don't, I won't have anywhere to work, right? All right, everyone. Thank you again for watching, and I hope to see you next month on this collab. And Thursday night live, 7 p.m. Eastern. Don't forget. Bye for now. Hugs, love, and peace.